I would have been 2, 4, 5, 6.
Welcome to State of the Save. We're coming in hot today. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Eric. With me, as always, is Michael. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing good.
Michael, video games are happening, so therefore video game podcasts are happening.
All over the globe, video game podcasts are alive and well.
They're popping up, and then probably some could say there's too many video game podcasts, but not this one.
No, we're the good one.
We're the good one. That's what they all say, right? No, it's very good to be back, everybody. We're here to discuss our game picks from last week on our show, where we're going to talk about some Super Mario Galaxy and some NFL Blitz 2001, and then talk about some other video game news. Retro video games are great because retro video games don't carry all the stigma of the modern video game landscape. Man, it's almost like we're coming in hot because we got opinions and irritations about things happening.
Oh my god.
Michael.
Yes.
Before we get into the news, let's talk about some video games that actually make us happy.
Yes. Okay.
Michael, what's been going on in your video game world recently?
I needed a game to play during a road trip.
Yes.
And a trip to the mountains.
I also was on this road trip.
Weird. Now that we've established the lore from last week.
Yeah. Now we can be like, hey, we both were on that trip.
Crazy. I had a game that... I put a bunch of games in my Switch bag because you never know, like, when you open up that thing, when you're on the road, what is going to appeal to you in that moment. It was none of the games that I had picked lined up. I opened the GameCube app and started from the beginning Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. A game I haven't touched since, like, I completed it about 20-some years ago.
That's the weird thing about playing a lot of, like, retro video games and video games from previous generations and things like that. When they come to you, when you decide, I need to play this, it just kind of hits you out of the blue. Yeah. Where it never feels like you were, like, it just feels like, oh, okay, I guess today I'm gonna play, Wind Waker, I guess. Or, for me, recently I reinstalled Resident Evil 4. It's just like, I guess today we play this game.
Exactly. I did that with Ocarina of Time earlier this year, so I've already been in a retro classic Zelda mood. So, played Wind Waker, and now I'm about halfway through Wind Waker.
Okay.
It just sort of happened. I don't know. Anyway, The Legend of Zelda... The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is an incredible game. I love the open, like, adventure aspect of it even more so than the... Ocarina of Time is one of my personal favorite games, but man, once you get to the open sea in Wind Waker and, like, the more seafaring version of the Legend of Zelda tune plays as you are guiding the wind with your musical baton and riding the ocean with that music playing. There's nothing else like it. It feels so good.
I feel like Wind Waker has had, like, a reevaluation. Because I feel like when that first came out, like, I don't know, I felt like people were mixed more on it. Now you look back on it.
The real ones knew.
Yes.
Wind Waker was great from the beginning.
The OGs knew.
But then you had...
you freaking casuals.
Then you had...
I can't curse. It's not been 5 minutes.
Are you aware of, like, the stigma Wind Waker had when it came out? Were you paying attention to that?
I was aware of it through, like, people didn't like the art style. They didn't like the...
They called it Zelda, and a negative connotation because...
Those same people were having a fucking field day. I cursed before the 5 minute mark. Sorry, people.
We lost our ads.
There goes no ads for this one. But those same people, when Borderlands came out, was like, it's so original. Like, come on, man. It looked good at the time. It looks good now. But I was aware of it, that people were not pleased.
People felt like it went a step backwards from, like, Majora's Mask, like, sort of dark, atmospheric, horror-adjacent art style, and then we went more like a Saturday morning anime Studio Ghibli vibe for it. But if you're paying attention to, like, the narrative, the darkness of Zelda is still prevalent. It opens with a retelling of the events of Ocarina of Time, where a hero of time emerged to defeat Ganon, and then disappeared into the forest, and that's where we got Majora's Mask from there. Link disappeared in the forest, never to be seen from Hyrule again. He basically became like a lone swordsman, going and helping out issues with their problems, and then some of the like Zelda lore stuff is really cool because he like appeared. That version of Link is like your skeletal swordsman trainer in Twilight Princess. That's really cool. So he's like it's continuing to pass down this knowledge even after like the hero of time has like a very tragic story. But
correct me real quick, jumping in here. There was like an official timeline for Zelda released.
They
released
all
fan release.
They released an official timeline in the Hyrule Historia, but it makes just as much sense as like the fan timelines.
Okay,
sorta. So like there is some connective tissue, but it's kind of like the James Bond movies. When something references a past event, you can glean that these two things are connected, but you don't have to glean that everything else is connected. They make direct reference. Wind Waker does make direct references to the Hero of Time, so we know this took place sometime after Ocarina of Time.
I'm okay with that kind of stuff because sometimes that level of like leaving it up to you to piece together what connects, what doesn't, and then you can have all the fan theories. Like, that stuff is generally more interesting than if you just come down and be like, and this happened, then this happened, then this happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's, Warhammer has a lot of that, where the most interesting Warhammer lore is the stuff that really is probably Games Workshop doesn't even know what the answer to the question is, but it's more like, as a fan, you can sit around and wonder, like, what happened to the Lost Legions and stuff like that. And it's like, no matter how much people beg for it, please don't ever explain it, because it's a lot more fun to sit around and think about it and have those like fan theories.
Exactly. So the people cheered the Hero of Time as he disappeared, but then a bunch of years passed and evil returned to the land, and people thought, oh, the Hero of Time will just time travel and emerge and destroy him again. But the Hero of Time never came. So what happened was the gods froze Hyrule in place and buried it beneath the rain and the sea. So time passed, and all these islands formed, and civilization formed on these islands. And every time a boy comes of age, they give them green garb in hopes that they might be the reincarnated hero to go and bring peace to the land once again.
I mean,
it's a very good story, and with some tinge of darkness that I like in my Zelda story, but it's the way it's presented is so beautiful with this art style. It doesn't look like it aged today. It looked like it could come out today.
You know, like, that is a very, like, I hate to use this word because it makes it sound like that's the only way a good story is told. But it is kind of like a mature theme, the concept of, like, they're so desperate for a hero that every time a boy comes of age, they're like, dress him like the old guy, let's see if he helps us. You know, but, like, I think it also, we're in a day where people are starting to kind of accept that not everything needs to be, you know, I think that's why in retrospective, people are kind of looking back on it a lot more favorable. And I think at the time, you know, it wasn't edgy, which was kind of the norm, right? 'Cause
yeah.
People were we were in the edgy early 2000s.
Came out around the same time, if I remembering right, like Halo 2.
Yeah, we were in the Mountain Dew phase.
Yeah.
We were in the Mountain Dew phase.
And here comes Zelda.
Yeah, we don't want that. We got kick flips to go do in the parking lot. But yeah, I think that it's cool that game's been kind of reevaluated, and people kind of have realized, hey, this thing is a masterpiece. It's worth going back to.
Absolutely is. And I was kind of tepid on checking out this version because they released a high definition version for the Wii U, which had some quality of life features. And you're like, surely this will just come to the Switch or Switch 2, right? They're like, here's the GameCube version. And I was like, really? Okay, fine, I'll play the GameCube version. And then I'm like, oh wait, this is still a masterpiece. Yeah. Nothing is removed. Plus, I never played the HD version, so I don't necessarily know what I'm missing. I'm going to when I get to the end-game quest where I have to get, they're already teasing it. They're like, there's 8 pieces of the Triforce that are scattered around the sea. And I know in the HD version, it's like, there are 3 pieces of the Triforce scattered about the sea.
Almost like it's called the Triforce. I mean, I think that is like one of my favorite mechanics that we seem to have left behind in video games is no one likes collecting a bunch of different parts of something.
Yeah.
You know, like, even in my game for this show, the Super Mario Galaxy has a lot of like collecting things. Like there's sections where you have to collect things to get stars and stuff. But even then, it's very streamlined. They're like, hey man, we'll put them in this general area. We know you don't want to spend an hour and a half going around collecting random pieces of something. Like, yeah, we'll make it a little bit faster for you. I think that it's a sign of a good game that you can randomly pick it up on a random day and then find yourself deep into it without kind of like planning it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a sign that this is something of quality.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, I had no idea I was going to pick up Wind Waker again. But now I am deep into it. And sadly, I am going to have to put it down. I had a game ready to go for a while. I just needed something to burn until the game I've been waiting for, Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, comes out tomorrow. Very excited. I wanted to remaster that game for so long. So I'm going to be talking about that next time. Yeah. A little tease for next episode of what I'm going to be talking about.
Nothing wrong with that. I fell down the rabbit hole of every once in a while TikTok's like, hey man, you like Halo? Here's a bunch of Halo lore videos, and next thing you know, I'm playing Halo 2 again.
It just sort of happens.
Just kind of happens. So I've just been, every once in a while I go back to that Master Chief Collection on account of the fact that thing is just so good. It's such a good, now when it came out, it was not like this. It launched very rough. But now you look at it, it's such a good way of like sealing up a franchise. Because it's got, Halo 1 through 4, and it's got Reach and ODST on there. And there's all these like fun features. Like my favorite one is the playlist feature, which allows you to just play levels as a theme, not as like a particular game. So you might like, this is the Flood playlist, where we'll play Flood levels. This is the playlist that has vehicle focused missions, or this is the final escape mission from each game, or whatever. And it's like a really cool kind of like, sometimes you're just in the mood to play big sniper levels or whatever. It's just fun stuff like that. And it has all the multiplayer in one place, and you can jump back and forth between all those games. But yeah, I sit there and I occasionally just fall back into that rabbit hole. It usually lasts about a week, and then I'm done with it. But it's like, hey man, sometimes you just want to play some Halo 2.
More games need customizable post-game features or playlists, like you were saying, like that. Like I did any chance to revisit old games in a new way is a lot of fun. Like a few years ago, I did a randomized version of Ocarina of Time, which took every item and shuffled it throughout the world, and it was a new way to experience that game again. Having that playlist way is just like, I need a quick Halo fix.
Well, and Halo's always done that really well with like the scar system. Yeah. Where you can, you throw on a couple of scars and that game's a completely different beast.
Resident Evil
does that a lot with like the score attack modes, or the survival modes, or
the alternate costumes
that give you bonuses. Like Resident Evil 4, your first playthrough of Resident Evil 4 is vastly different than when you're running around with the unlimited ammo Tommy gun and Ashley's in a metal suit. That game is completely different. I really love that. And a lot of games used to have a lot of like score attack modes or time challenges or whatever. And I wish more games did that, because it is nice to be able to like inhabit, especially like I have a tendency that for single player games, I play through them and I am done, and I won't play them for at least another year or whatever. Yeah. And that kind of stuff keeps that game in your rotation for a little bit longer. Even if it's just a couple more sessions. It's nice to be like, like when you finish like Resident Evil, it's like, well, I guess I'll play some of these, like survival modes, trying to fight off waves of enemies or whatever. It just keeps it in the disk drive for a little bit longer. But yeah, I played some of that. Now I play mostly, Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario Galaxy. Before we move on, do we talk about the news that made us all mad?
We can touch on it.
Yeah, so EA getting purchased. All thing we're gonna say is this is bad. This is bad. Nothing good comes from this. Conglomerations and major mega corporations are not your friends. We figured this shit out before, and we learned the hard way. This EA was not putting out a ton of bangers, but we were excited about some things they had coming up, like Battlefield 6, and we have desperately been crossing fingers for Mass Effect to right its ship any day now, and those hopes have really been put on the back burner. So yeah, it's not great. Don't be stupid. Don't think that this is a good thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Mike was just sitting there. He's just gonna shake his head.
You touched on it.
Yeah, hit me up. I got thoughts.
We ranted about this off mic.
Yeah, we got real mad. That's where we came in super hot. Michael, let's talk about our games for the week.
Yes.
Michael, I would like to go first.
You'd like to go first. All right.
Because I think it ties into your Wind Waker conversation. Super Mario Galaxy. Nintendo is so good at the craftsmanship of video game making.
Yes.
Like, there is an art form to video games. We have always made this argument. But there's also like a technical skill that goes into video games, right? So there are some games that exceed at the art form. Like,
Shadow of the Colossus.
The Life is Strange games. Even like Expedition 33, which is great on craftsmanship, but also the art of that game is like, it's an artistic masterpiece. This is like a craftsmanship showcase. Because like, you play this game, and the way they introduce things to you, and the world is pieced out to show you the mechanics, is such a thought out. Like, I could see someone banging their head in a design meeting, being like, how do we introduce all these mechanics in this like very, it's almost like kid friendly way, because this is a game that's our audiences.
Yeah.
But like, as a kid, you can hand this to a child and they'll figure out pretty quickly how the bee suit works. Because like, you get the bee suit for the first time, and what's the first thing in front of you? A thing of water. So what do? You go through the water, it shuts off the bee suit. Now, there's no real penalty to this, because you can just walk back over and get the bee suit. But it instantly teaches you, this is a downside to this mechanic. This is what you need to deal with. And what do? You go into the next section, and there's a lot more water to worry about. And it's just like little things like that. In an age in which we kind of lean very heavily on like yellow tape on stuff and things like that, it's a very just elegant craftsmanship style design to this video game. And it's something that I always applaud Nintendo with doing.
It was always something that they did in their 2D Mario stuff too. They introduce like a theme of the level at the beginning in a way that teaches you, in a way that you're safe, in a way that you're not in danger. Like, in Super Mario World, you'll have levels that have like the sort of train tracks that like go around, not really train tracks, but like the floating platforms that go around with like little spiky enemies. And okay, the spike thing is probably bad, and I'm probably gonna have to deal with these. So you have a little play area where you can kind of figure out the mechanics of how these things work before you get to the larger level. And that is sort of that mentality in this game, in the 3D version of that mentality.
Yeah, and it's just I was just so impressed by it. Because every time I got to a new thing, and I've played video games for a very long time. And so like a lot of these things you kind of just take for granted that you know how to figure this shit out. But I was trying to look at it from like a younger like person's perspective or a new player's perspective. And I was like, this is such an elegant way of teaching these mechanics. And it's like I said, there's always like a very like easy, safe way to fail version, and then we start ratcheting it up. But it's just such an elegant way of teaching mechanics, and this thing is just so It's just fun. It's just a fun, like, Nintendo games, when they hit, man, they hit. Like, you know, the mechanic of Mario having to travel the universe to try to collect stars to rescue Princess Peach again. But, like, the mechanics of how worlds, like, individual planets work, right? And jumping between the planets. And there's all these little moments where, you know, Mario takes, like, a big orbit around the map to land on the next planet and stuff, and you see the planet as it comes closer, and so it's giving you like almost like an overview of the planet before you get there, so you can kind of, you know, oh, this one's got like boulders going around that I gotta dodge, and you get that kind of idea before you even land. And then every once in a while it'll put you in like a more like Super Mario 64 style level, right? That's just like a platformer that's not on a like an individual planet.
It breaks up. The first thing you said to me was, I hope the planet hopping doesn't get old.
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh, you're fine.
Yeah, I think I had said that, and then the very next play session, I went to a section that was like a Super Mario 64 level.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, and we're back. Okay, I get you. I get your game here. You're gonna do some planets, and probably around the time I start to get kind of bored with that, you'll put me on a Mario 64 level. And by the time I get kind of bored with that, I can do some more planets.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Cliffy B design philosophy of Gears of War 1, which is like, I think, every 30 minutes do something new or something like that. Like, you know, there was like a philosophy which, you know, it's probably a little bit ADHD. I think his was like every 15 minutes. I don't know. It was the Mountain Dew era. But like, it's that kind of philosophy of we won't beat a dead horse. And, like, Nintendo is so good at knowing when it's time to switch things up and when it's time to add a new mechanic.
And once you do that rotation a couple times, that's when it starts introducing, like, the challenge stars and everything. Like, the more, the ones you don't have to do right away, but the purple coin missions or the time missions or the one-hit kill missions and everything. So
the stuff that we were just talking about that keeps a game in your disc tray longer, right? Like, you know, you don't have to do those, but they're fun. And a lot of times that kind of stuff in these kind of games, unless I'm like really obsessed with the game, like trying to 100% it, I'll like try it once or twice. And then if the moment that like that optional thing stops being fun, I'll give up on it. Where that's okay, because sometimes you complete them and sometimes you don't. And it's like, I don't know, I really, really, just the thing I kept looking at and feeling about this game was just, you just tell Nintendo is just so talented at that craftsmanship side of video games. And like, I'm not a Nintendo fanboy. Like, I didn't grow up with, I think my last main console, I have a Switch and stuff, but, you know, like as a kid, was a Super Nintendo, and then I became like a PlayStation and Xbox kid, you know? So I was not like a Nintendo fanboy, but the one thing you do anytime you go into a Nintendo game is just realize, like, this thing is just from the ground up. These guys they're pros. And like, everything about this is put together well, and it gets challenging pretty quickly. I mean, pretty quickly you start getting into worlds that have some oomph to them, you know? You get some challenging worlds. And especially like when you're getting into some of the Mario 64 levels, those seem to be a little bit more, I found those more challenging than a lot of the planets. Like the planet levels, I guess is what you want to call them. I'm trying to find a way like
the planet levels are more like roller coaster rides sort of
thing.
They're
You kind of
theme park attractions. Those are the ones that have like the big bombastic music that's playing versus like, I'm thinking of the B level that has like the marimbas and like the tambourine and everything.
Yeah,
like, really jaunty, relaxing music. Versus like, I think the opening level, Good Egg Galaxy is one that I like go to.
That's the one when you're trying to hatch the egg to it kickstarts the boss fight.
Yeah.
But then there's also like some levels that just have some awesome mechanics. There's a ward I really liked. It's like in a glass dome. And so you land on the dome. Inside the dome. And then the level becomes almost like a side-scrolling level, but it has a gravity directions in there. So you're trying to navigate the gravity that puts you on the ceiling and the gravity that keeps you on the floor. And so like you have this glass dome that you already walked your way to, then you walk your way inside the dome, and then you navigate up the dome to the top where there was like a little boss fight. Or like I think it was a boss fight up there. And I'm like, this is just...
It's delightful.
It's delightful, and like it's deceitfully well thought out. Like Nintendo makes so many of these kind of game level designs that like you as a player are like, oh, this is cool. And like if it wasn't such a craftsmanship, I keep going back to that word, craftsmanship, but if they didn't have such a craftsmanship to it, it would be miserable. Like you see like a less talented developer would screw something up there. Like in how like the transition inside the dome works, or how the gravity works as you go up it, because it is constantly changing your perspective on the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it does it in such a smooth, well thought out way. Your brain just goes with it.
It played to the strengths of the Wii, in that the Wii doesn't have a second control stick. It had like the pointer to move. So what do you do with the pointer on the Wiimote? You use it to point at the little star bits to grab them and everything. The big open levels are sort of like, the camera's a lot more pulled back than it is like a Mario 64, so they almost function like dioramas almost, where you're like panning around to like see certain angles, but like camera is never an issue. This was a game, one thing that Nintendo does is they cater their game and their design philosophy to the console that they're making it for. And this is very much a Wii game at its core.
No, you're 100% right. I will say that on the Switch, you don't have the ability to point if you're playing in handheld mode, you have to tap it.
Yeah.
That's not great, but it's also their way of walking around a mechanic that wouldn't have been there in the original game, so I'm not mad at it.
You can also play with the Joy-Cons, and it simulates that Wii.
Yeah, but I was
really
playing in handheld mode, so
which is a perfectly valid way to play this.
Yeah,
you don't lose too much.
No, and also I don't want to be like, oh, that sucks. It wasn't. No one planned for this when they released it. Like no one planned that there might be a handheld mode of their console.
It's like they did with Skyward Sword. They're like, what do we do when you're playing with a control stick? We'll just make the control stick the sword.
Yeah, it's like, bro, we didn't know.
This is a solution to a problem we didn't realize we would have.
Nobody in the business, no one in the boardroom was like, what happens when the new console comes out and it's not a stick? It's like, I don't know, man, figure it out. Like,
People don't want to play old games. What are you talking about? No one wants to play retro stuff. Anyway, here's a store where you could buy all of our old retro stuff with some banging music that'll become a meme on TikTok in 15 years.
I know we run a retro video game podcast, but that mentality, I do occasionally run into people who do not like the concept of going back and playing older games. Just doesn't cross their mind.
I don't understand.
And I don't understand it because, like, you go back and watch movies that didn't come out this year, right? Like, sometimes you're in the mood to watch Predator. Like, every July 4th, I watch Predator for some reason. Like,
I think it's a barrier. Like, people don't know how, like, accessible, like, some of these things are.
I think also, I will say, there is a generation of games that are not as accessible. Like, you hand somebody something from, like, the PlayStation era. Like, when we were still figuring out 3D cameras. Or, like, you hand someone, like, that's why I like remasters so much. Because it's a way to introduce a game to somebody. Like, if you have never played Resident Evil 4.
You can play Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I will give you Resident Evil, remastered. And you will have a ball with it. Mm-hmm. But if I give you the other one, the controls might give you some trouble. Like, and that's, like, really true with, like, Resident Evil 2 with the tank controls and stuff. So it's like, sometimes I really like those because it's a repackaging of a game so people can get into it. But a lot of retro games are still hold up amazingly. Like, I played Metal Gear Solid last year again. And hey, guess what? Metal Gear Solid still plays really fun today.
We, in our previous version of the show, we had some trouble with it in a couple spots, but we played Parasite Eve for the first time. And that was
not a game I thought I would have played, because I wouldn't have played it without that show, is a game that I really wish would get a remaster, because a remaster of that would probably make me...
More people should play this, but unless you're a retro head, you're going to run it. You're not going to finish this thing if you're not, like, well-versed in, like, the PS1 and, like, that style of RPG.
Also, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but that RPG style is very Was there other RPGs at the time that played like that in that combat style where you're just like locked into like a small screen, but like still having movement, but like shooting was still randomized?
Vagrant Story, but that was more melee combat focus.
Yeah, I mean, because like I can't tell you the amount of times in Parasite Eve where I like run to the other side of the screen and like 3 shots out of 4 only hit because it's like, you know, it's still like dice rolls, I guess.
Yeah,
like, this is still dice rolls, and it's like, yeah, it's such a weird.
It's weird going
weird video game.
It can be weird going back to old stuff. So I kind of think,
but embrace it.
Yeah, we embrace it because we love that hobby. But
yes.
People who play like modern stuff don't tend to save their I'm not the type to sell my old console to get a new console.
Yes, this is true. Which
is what most people end up doing.
Yeah, and also there's nothing wrong with that. But I also think games stick around a lot longer now. Like, you know, Rainbow Six Siege is like 10 years old. Like, you know, people are playing things, I think, longer than they used to.
Yeah.
So it's like weird. Games are like retro in a weird sense where like a game just sticks around long enough that it technically is retro.
Yeah, people are still discovering what people were going to Metal Gear Solid 5 after playing Delta because they're like, oh, what's next in the timeline? So Metal Gear Solid 5 is like back in the conversation because people had enough time to finish Delta, and it's like we're at a point now where games are more accessible now, but going back, I think past this generation, going back to like the PS3 days, I feel like a lot of people playing games now only want to play the stuff that is like fully accessible to them, which is why remasters and like repackaging of games is like super, super important.
Like, I wonder how many people after playing Metal Gear Solid Delta will play Metal Gear Solid.
I hope so.
I hope so. Point. But like, or will they wait for the remaster? Like, is it a situation now? Like, are people like, oh, I want to remaster Metal Gear Solid so I can play it instead of just playing Metal Gear Solid?
Those are all there with the Master Collection, those that are easily accessible.
Well, I'm just talking about more from a gameplay point of view.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to give people 3 months to finish Metal Gear Solid 5, and we'll see where Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and they did say they're working on Volume 2 of that Metal Gear Solid collection.
Which I'm hoping is just Metal Gear Solid 4... Acid series,
Peace Walker.
Rising, Peace Walker, maybe?
Portable Ops,
maybe?
Ghost Babel,
maybe? Keep going up in voice, maybe?
Rising Revengeance?
I don't think they put that one on there.
They need to.
Metal Gear Solid Survival? Wasn't it Survival the one that was like the zombie one?
So your thoughts on Mario Galaxy?
We want to talk about that one?
I don't want to talk about that
one. All in all, Mario Galaxy was a joy. Like I said, Nintendo games hold up so well too. Like, you want to talk about like retro games that hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I would make an argument that most Nintendo games are timeless.
Yeah,
like, you could go back to them no matter what, and barring some exceptions, most of them are pretty easy to get back into no matter what year it is. And I mean, this thing was a joy. I had a hell of a time with it.
That's great to hear. I'm glad you ended up.
Art style holds up, and it is a great game. It's a great video game. Mario does. Nintendo very rarely drops a ball on a Mario game,
mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I mean, I've noticed it's happened before, but it's not something. Usually they're like, "Hey, man, we gonna make sure we do this shit right."
I love Sunshine, but this is why I didn't give you Sunshine, because people would say that is where the ball did drop on the Mario series with some like imprecision of like the platforming and all of that.
True.
So
that was a GameCube game, right?
Yeah.
So
they were trying weird stuff in the GameCube era, and that's why the GameCube era is my favorite era of Nintendo, because they're like, let's just get weird. We're gonna make a console RTS about little alien dudes, and you're going to love it.
If Nintendo was a band, like the Nintendo Super Nintendo era is like the classic era, like that everybody wants to hear hits from.
Okay.
The GameCube era is when they got super experimental and maybe lost a couple band members. And then the Wii Switch era is the return tour where the original group is back and they're coming back. No, if Blink-182 was Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, early Blink-182 is Nintendo Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. When Tom leaves, is GameCube. Tom comes back for a little bit for
Wii.
Switch, for the Wii.
So
Then Tom leaves again for a little bit for the Wii U. And then Tom comes back for Switch.
So the Wii is the neighborhoods of game consoles.
Yes, the Wii is the neighborhoods.
People
of game
hated
consoles.
it when it came out, but now people are looking back fondly on it, going, actually, there's
some of us are. Some of us are.
Wait, okay. It's not a music show, but I will defend neighborhoods.
I mean, I'm just saying that Skiba era wasn't that bad either. But, yeah, Bored to Death is a hell of a song. But no, like, yeah, Blink-182 and Nintendo, boys and girls. No, but I really enjoyed this. Thank you for letting me play this.
Absolutely.
I had a great time.
All right. My game.
Football is back, and so is Blitz.
Yeah, the timing really lined up on that.
Almost like I did that on purpose.
NFL Blitz 2001. I played a bit of this game before, and I played Blitz only in passing at like barcades or something. It was always something I would play a quarter or two of and go, that was fun. I don't really understand this game. This seems very, very fast, but sure, like that's a fun time.
I have been drunk and playing Blitz at the Boxcar, which is a bar here in Greensboro, many times. So I was just like, I think I played it at Boxcar. I don't know. I've been drinking.
They had it there.
Blitz.
I played that same machine. Played it for a couple rounds and was like, all right.
I think I did a pickleback one time and then played some Blitz.
Oh yeah.
It's a terrible drink. Don't get a pickleback.
So Blitz was a game I came into going, I'm going to get good at Blitz. I'm going to learn the mechanics. I'm going to play this game like I did back when I played like the other Midway Sports games when I rented NHL Hits.
Man, I should have let you play NHL Hits 2002.
When I played MLB Slugfest.
Oh, Slugfest
Blitz
is good
was
too.
the one that sort of passed me by that I didn't rent a lot because that series sort of faded into obscurity when it got into the PS2 era. Unlike the others, like it sort of, there were big Blitz games on the PS2, and then they put all in on Blitz the League, but that's a different thing, which is a very good game now, but
I will make the argument also that like the PS2 era had the NBA and NFL Street series. So those games are so fucking good.
Those were great. So,
sports games were better before they were serious.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. To the point where this game has late hits and fantastic. So
you drop elbows on guys.
Blitz is a game you play. Learning Blitz is a game that you experiment with in 3 phases. The first phase is like the initial attraction, the late hits, the quippy announcers, the very fast-paced gameplay, where it's a little abrasive at first, but you're bad at it. You gotta try to like learn the game. You don't know yet that you can hit the left trigger and have the buttons laid out for your runners yet. So you're kind of just pointing and shooting, pointing and throwing the ball and hoping that it catches without an interception. You don't know the nuances yet. Okay, then the second phase of NFL Blitz is you understand the mechanics of the game. You understand its speed, but for some reason, no matter what you do, you are still terrible at this game. You're running up against the wall. I played a full season as the Carolina Panthers. Probably a mistake on my part. I went 8-8. Half the games were wins, half the games were losses. Never blowouts. And I'm like, why is it not a blowout on either side? These games are always kept super close. Played a lot of Blitz. Could not wrap my head around it. Then I'm like, is it my team? Do I need to switch up teams? Who won the Super Bowl back in 2000? The Baltimore Ravens. No, that's not really helping either.
You got Ray Lewis, man. You got Ray Lewis.
That's not really helping either. So, starting a new season. Green Bay, last night, Green Bay Packers.
Favre Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, Favre Green Bay Packers. I won 3 games in a row and lost 1. I saw it. I figured out this game. It's at the end of the Matrix when Neo sees the code in the walls and can stop bullets. Not quite there because I still lost my 4th game, but I'm understanding sort of the looseness of Blitz. The thing you need to understand about Blitz coming into it, if you're new, this is an arcade game through and through. This is a midway arcade through and through. Where we stayed at had a Mortal Kombat 2 machine, and I was reminded Mortal Kombat 2 and all of Midway's games are the cheatingest games
Damn motherfuckers.
you will ever play. the input reading
Yes.
on Mortal Kombat 2 and in Blitz will drop once you notice it. It's one of those glass shattering moments. Like
I played some Mortal Kombat. I played Mortal Kombat 3 up there. I was not happy with
every
myself.
time you do Sub-Zero's freeze move, what do immediately once you hit that input? They duck.
Yeah.
Immediately. Without a second
game
thought.
cheats.
They cheat. Blitz is the same way, but it cheats in different ways that I noticed. Your first drive in Blitz is always the easiest. Your long 30-yard throws are going to connect in that first drive. You are 9 times out of 10 going to make your first touchdown. And then what happens?
Defense
like a game of Mario Kart, this game has rubber banding.
Oh yes,
the rubber
will not blow out the computer.
But Mario Kart, when the rubber band eases up, it's like someone just bringing the rubber band back.
Not in Blitz.
When the rubber band snaps in Blitz, it hurts. It leaves welts. When you are a touchdown ahead, you're gonna all of a sudden those defenders are gonna run a lot faster to your guy and intercept the ball.
If somehow you get like 2 to 3 scores up, the opposing team will become gods. Where it's like, oh my god, my entire offensive line just got murdered, and I'm running for my life, and I throw the ball, and that guy jumped 47 feet in the air and intercepted me. It's just like the game's like, oh, it's time to kick him quick.
You break away for that like 30-yard dash, and then the guy just runs up to you, fumbles, and then all of a sudden it's
your guys just start. We have stick them on your hands in the first drive. In the second drive, you're covered in Dawn dish soap. And the balls are just bouncing off your hands like Travis Kelce this year.
So learning Blitz becomes less about getting good at the game of football and understanding the ways to circumvent how Blitz cheats. You can go hard on that first drive or two. Then it's time to play conservatively. That's when you want to switch it up to the running plays.
Or do some screen passes.
Some screen passes, exactly. Throw it to the halfback and have him throw it.
Yes.
Do trick plays. But also, the rubber banding also affects the other way. If you are behind, at least on the PlayStation version, I've had the opposing quarterback just run back and just jump in place.
Yes, if you get really beat up in Blitz, like the game will start treating you like a 5-year-old. Like it'll give you like safeties. Whereas like why is the opposing quarterback running into the end zone and just standing there? It's like I guess I get a safety here, I guess. What? And it's just because like the game's like this guy's a dummy. Help him get caught back up.
There is no I've never had the computer blow out on me, and I've never blown out the computer. The games are always kept super tight. Because ultimately, this is an arcade game. They want your quarters. You're like, oh, I'm just ahead. If I keep playing, because if you're ahead by like 20 points at the arcade, you're like, well, I won anyway. I'm going to a different game. But also, you're just behind enough. It's like, I just need one more quarter. 1 quarter per quarter, I guess.
Yeah, you play.
I just need one more quarter, and I can catch up.
And also, quarters are like 2 minutes. So like you would, or like what, 5 minutes? I think
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah, 2 minutes. So yeah, you paid in the arcade by the quarter. So you had to import money 4 times to finish the game. And like, dude, it's smart. It's smart game because you're only down by 1 touchdown going into the 4th. You're going to give that extra quarter to try to get the win. If you're down by 20, you're like, screw this game. I'm going to play something else.
And getting good at Blitz requires you to understand those nuances. Because I went through a part where I'm like, I'm having fun, but I'm just not learning anything. I'm not getting good. I finished my season 8-8. I didn't get to go to the playoffs. Yeah. So I was like, what did I do wrong? And you think, oh, it's going to be balanced. It says tournament mode whenever you're in season play. It says no CPU assistance, no power-ups. This is just straight up football. Okay, this is going to be fair and balanced.
Nope.
It was not fair and balanced.
Nothing about Blitz is fair. But, like, Blitz doesn't need to be fair.
It does, because once you get it, you understand it.
Blitz is early 90s punk rock. At first you hear no effects, and you go, this is a fun, loud song about crazy stuff. I like this loud noise coming out of my radio. And then you hear Lagwagon or something like that. It's like these guys occasionally make some cool, poignant songs. And then you hear Bad Religion. And you're like, oh my god, this guy's a professor of theology in some school, Like, Blitz has waves of what, but never is Blitz bad. The NoFX stuff is just as fun as the bad religion stuff. Like, it just is this. And, like, there's something so pure video game about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do not have to be a sports guy. That's why I like about this era. I am a sports guy. I like sports. I like football in particular. But I do not care about Madden. I do not care about like what modern sports are. I tried to play a lot of the NCAA college football when it came back. And it's just like the mechanics of it. I don't want to have to do clock management every game. Like, I love the arcade over-the-top sports games of the PlayStation, of the arcade, and then the like PS2, like I mentioned NBA Street and NFL Street. Those games are amazing. NBA Street 2, Volume 2.
Oh my forget
God.
about it.
I'm out there with Vince Carter dunking on dudes from the 3-point line. NHL Hits 2002, when you knocking dudes through the glass, is 3-on-3.
It becomes a Mortal Kombat.
Guys catch on fire. Oh my, yeah, the fights are Mortal Kombat fights. Oh my god. Like, I love those era of sports games. I was a sports games kid because sports games like that, like there was an era in which on my Christmas list, I was asking for NFL Street for Christmas over other games because like they were just so addictive and fun and just pure video game.
Exactly.
And there's nothing in the video game space right now that I feel has that same level of a Midway or an NFL, or what was it, EA Big? Was the
EA Sports Big.
EA Sports Big, which was the ones that were doing the street games and stuff.
And even when
I feel like we've lost that kind of game.
And even when they do like re-release this, there's an arcade 1-up cabinet on Blitz.
Yeah, you can't do late hits.
You can't do late hit. They take that away.
Oh, dude,
you lose something.
Have been dude, you can't do the things like you could do in modern, like, okay, like nobody in the modern NFL would sign off on their likenesses. Because, like, think about on like NFL Street, dudes are like stepping on guys' heads and like jumping over them and then like doing dances on their way into. Dude, you think Aaron Rodgers is gonna be like, yeah, I'll have somebody hit me after I get up and then drop an elbow on me? Like, no, these guys won't sign off on that shit.
Oh yeah, they're just the late hits are just wrestling moves.
Yeah, you just drop elbows on dudes.
you could do like a leg drop on a couple guys.
Oh my god, it's great.
The sound effects. There's like I heard a horse. There's bowling pin sound effect when you push like multiple guys.
But like modern sports they take it so seriously now. I don't think you could get away with using actual players because Blitz has named players in it.
Stop treating the virtual players better than you treat the actual players.
Yes. Yeah, come on, man. Like, dude, you know who signed off on this stuff? Ocho Cinco was in NFL Street. Think Ocho Cinco gave a damn? No. That's why Ocho Cinco's cool. Get with it, NFL.
One thing I will say about this, I had to one unrelated thing I'll say about this game. I had to make a new memory card on my PS3 for this because this game eats up an entire memory card's worth of memory. It took me back to the days of like Snowboard Kids on the N64. That day I took an entire memory card, and it was like, you don't have enough. I was like, I have like 2/3 of this memory card. What do you mean I can't save a season?
Because it saves each game individually, don't it?
It doesn't. It just takes like that
much.
But I don't know if it's because I had mid-game stats on, so it was probably saving all of the stats, which ate up a whole lot of memory.
I can see that because it's probably saving across like all the games, maybe, like so you can compare it to whoever else.
Yeah, you had computer players. Even their stats that you could read as well, because you could know, like, I have the 3rd best running offense in the NFL, or I have the 1st best passing. So
when it sims those other games, it's saving those stats.
And you're like, it's probably like what? Probably 5 kilobytes of data. 5 kilobytes of data is a lot of memory card space back in 2001.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you enjoyed this game.
I had a blast with it. I was addicted to it. I played this for an entire Saturday, and then when I went back to it last night, I played for like another hour and a half. That was my I figured it out moment.
I was having a rough time, and I played a bunch of Blitz when I was having a rough time. And when you're having a rough time sitting on your couch at like Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and you're just dropping elbows on Brett Favre from 2001 and trying to see if Washington can maybe win a Super Bowl for once.
Keep holding on to that hope.
This is also pre-name change Washington. But like, dude, I was sitting there going, man, I feel like this. I feel like they need to bring back this genre of sports, but I just don't think it exists in the world in which we live in. So it sucks, but these games still happen. Go back, play Blitz. Go back, play Hit, Slugfest.
They're relatively cheap games. They're on every console at the time. So
yeah, they were on everything. PlayStation, Xbox. Yeah, you can go to like a retro store and probably pick them up for like nothing. Michael.
Yes.
What are we playing for next week?
All right. Do you want me to go first?
Go first.
All right. You are playing a beloved series that kind of disappeared for a while. Now, there is a remake of one of the beloved games from this series coming out next year. And I thought, now's a good time for Eric to revisit the series. I don't know if you've actually played a game in this series before. It's an Ubisoft series that kind of went parallel with the Splinter Cell series. It had a trilogy that one game was highly regarded, especially with critics at the time.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Siphon Filter? Was that an Ubisoft game?
That was PlayStation.
That was PlayStation. I was sitting there trying to figure out, goes parallel with
it.
Splinter Cell.
Had a big hit movie. It kind of disappeared around the time because it was morphed into a different series, which now became Ubisoft's cash cow.
Rainbow Six?
Not Rainbow Six. This is... I'm talking about the Prince of Persia series.
Oh, yeah, the Prince of Persia series.
Now, have you ever played a Prince of Persia?
I played one of the PlayStation 2 ones?
You don't remember
which one? I don't
one?
remember what. It's been a long time.
It was going to be between two of these. Your game I'm picking for you is the first in that trilogy. You're playing Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time.
I believe I played Warrior Within.
Warrior Within. That was my other pick. Because if you played the renowned classic, I was going to give you what happens when they take a T-rated series and crank up the God of War and make it rated M.
When Mountain Dew kicked in.
Yes, that game actually rules also, but I think it's time to revisit the Prince of Persia series before the remake next year. I feel like it's one that it was a classic, not a classic at the time, but it was revered at the time, but kind of got lost.
Well, I mean, it definitely is a series that fell off the radar, but it was a big deal. Like, I remember when Warrior Within came out, because I remember looking at it in video game magazines, and, like, people were being, like, very hostile towards it. They're like, how dare they do this to our fun-loving Prince of Persia?
I played Sands of Time as a kid and loved it. Got near to the very end until, like, a puzzle just, like, stopped me in my tracks. Then I went back when I got the PS3 version, played Sands of Time. I went right to Warrior Within and my jaw dropped with the first 5 minutes going, what happened here? Oh, 2004 happened. That's what happened.
Listen, I'm a fan. Okay. Michael, you have a choice.
Okay.
You have a big, elaborate RPG coming out that you're going to be playing.
Yes.
Would you like to add another RPG to play alongside it?
Ooh, okay.
Or would you like a fun hack and slash set in the same world? Now, I will say, I believe you've played the hack and slash, but I know you haven't played the RPG. It's for the PlayStation 2, Michael.
Are we talking about Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay, I have played the Lord of the Rings hack and slash games.
Would you like to play Lord of the Rings The Third Age?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me Lord of the Rings The Third Age.
This is a Final Fantasy style RPG.
All right.
Set in the Lord of the Rings universe that takes place over all three of the movies, in which you do not play as the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes.
You play as the Costco equivalent of the Fellowship of the Ring, as they follow about a half a day behind the main cast of the Lord of the Rings and show up to everything just about 10 minutes after the cast leaves.
Wait, what was the name of this thing?
The Third Age.
The Third Age. Okay, was I thinking there's multiple of these RPG things, just like Battle for Middle Earth, like War in the North or something?
So Battle for Middle Earth was a RTS.
Okay.
War for the North was like a Battlefront style game, I believe. This is a PlayStation 2 game. It's the first RPG that I had played all the way to completion as a kid. It is a Final Fantasy style turn-based RPG. The party stands across from the enemies, taking turns, series of actions.
Okay.
Yada, yada, yada. It takes place over all 3 of the games, and your cast of characters are not the cast from the movies or the books. They are but you have like a cast of Lord of the Rings characters. There is an elf lady. There is a dwarf guy. There is a Gondor guy. Like you have, and there is quintessential classic Final Fantasy style gameplay. You will occasionally meet the heroes of the movies and do stuff with them.
Okay.
So you'll be like, hey, Gandalf.
Okay.
I know you stepped off screen for 10 minutes in the movie, or in the book, you were gone for about 6 years. And so now we'll have a little adventure with Gandalf. But then we'll get separated, and now we'll follow the Fellowship.
This has me excited because I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Give me a second, I'm going to go get it off the shelf.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy at all. Whoa. I've watched the first movie on DVD as a kid. I watched a bit of the second movie, then fell asleep and was like, I'll continue it tomorrow. I never finished it. Then I watched the last hour of Return of the King when it was on TNT.
Boo this man. Boo this man.
Now, my wife, big fan of Lord of the Rings, the theatrical cut. She says don't ever watch the extended cut.
Boo your wife.
How dare you? Oh, you're an extended cut guy? You like?
I love the extended cuts.
Like watching the Ents walk more?
Me and my friend Ricky, as a teenager, used to get very drunk and watch the extended cuts over and over and over again.
Now, let me tell you my video game history with Lord of the Rings. I played The Two Towers. I played all of Return of the King on GameCube. I have that game still. That game rules. And my favorite piece of Lord of the Rings media, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, is an incredible game. Calamimber's cool. You're banished from death.
We're gonna end this. We're gonna end this here podcast.
We're cutting it off here.
Damn it! This is over.
So, I'm ready to add this to. So yeah, I experienced the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy more in video game form than I did in movie or literary form. I did read a bit of The Hobbit.
I mean, listen, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd. I read all the books, and I read the Silmarillion, and I've watched all the movies, and I love me the Lord of the Rings. So I'm obviously going to be like pro Lord of the Rings.
I'm ready to love this. I am ready to be trapped and be like, let me tell you about the Silmarillion, or that's
so we get 6 new characters here in this thing. We have a co-op mode.
Ooh, okay.
RPG, Final Fantasy style RPG with a co-op mode. But yeah, this game is something, man. Like the very first EGM copy of EGM that I ever bought was advertising this game, and that's why I bought it. I acquired a new copy sitting over there. But the Third Age is like a fascinating video game because it is not, like I said, it is not a direct retelling of the story. It is
this cover.
Yes.
Oh my god, my neighbor, my complete terrible neighbor had this game and he was mad because he loved the Lord of the Rings hack and slashes that he would come over to play. He's like, "What is this?" So he liked Final Fantasy X and stuff, but for some reason this was a bridge too far. So I'm curious what the most exciting. They reference Final Fantasy on the back of this.
Yo,
Let's Play Gaming Monthly.
Give me a second.
You have the magazine. Oh, I am pouring over. Is this good podcasting? I don't know. I'm pouring over this thing because I
want to start doing TikToks of old video game magazines because I fucking love old video game magazines. But here is a copy of EGM September 2004 issue 182. It had the cover issue story. Was Lord of the Rings the Third Age?
Is this a triangle opens menu game? Yes, it is. Yes. Okay.
This game, I got this issue of EGM from the Food Lion because I was such a Lord of the Rings nerd, and I was like, "Oh my god, video game magazines are the coolest shit ever!" And I started just constantly getting video game magazines. And now, as a 34-year-old man, I am on eBay purchasing video game magazines. If you have video game magazines, namely EGM,
Evil mode?
and you have them in your basement, give me your video game magazines. Send them to me, and I will talk about you on the show, and I will maybe send you pictures of my feet or something.
We'll work out a PO box so we don't dox ourselves.
You can have pictures of my feet in exchange for EGM magazines. Also, there is a Game Boy Advance version of the Third Age that I also had, which was like an RTS. It was like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh my god!
I also have that game as well.
Oh my god! My god!
Yes.
What should this finally be the turning point that turns me into a Lord of the Rings fan?
Dude, I love this fucking game. I'm very excited about you playing it. I'm
gonna play 2 RPGs in tandem with each other.
Dude, it's a great game.
Is this a voice acting game or
it's a voice acting game?
They had so much money at this time.
Oh, this is EA. EA got cash. I mean, look at this. Look at this shit.
It's a blue logo. Oh my god, this looks epic.
Like, I know this is terrible. Also, look at some of these ads for old video game magazines. I love old ads for video game magazines.
That's a bikini lady on a pro fishing magazine.
Yeah, man. This is a pro fishing. If you guys want a video of me just going over old video game magazines, I would love to do so. Like this ad for Pro Fishing Challenges that has the wonderful line, "Size does matter. One of the most complex fishing games to date. IGN. Hey, IGN, how you doing with that high quality video game journalism?" But
oh my
god, look at these, look at that shit, look at that. I fucking love this game.
I'm excited to play this.
So
holy cow, I need to dedicate some time to this. I will pull myself away from Final Fantasy Tactics to play some Lord of the Rings The Third Age.
I'm just happy you haven't played it, Michael. I think you're gonna have a good time with it. It's a great game. I really look forward to it. Like I said, it was the first RPG I ever played, and I only played it because I was such a big fan of the other hack and slash games. Like I said, I too, and so I got it for Christmas, and I was like so confused. No, I got it for my birthday, I think. And I was so confused. No, it was Christmas. I was so confused about it, but like it was enough of a Lord of the Rings nerd to want to like get into it, and I'm so happy that I did. It still stands up as one of my favorite video games.
I forgot this game existed.
That's what I love about this show. Hell yeah! Let's just play some video games.
Let's just play some video games.
Oh my god! Please tell me if you would like to have a TikTok series in which Eric goes through old video game magazines. Would you like to see this a wonderful essential tools for the school for this year? Like, you're going to need an Engage. You need an Engage.
I need an Engage? Oh, man.
Engage. How else are you going to play Drive with 3 on the Engage? It got a 9 out of 10 score from OneUp.com.
The Engage or Driver 3 for the Engage?
And why is Madden NFL 2005 Game of the Month this month?
Oh my
Madden
god.
NFL 2005 got Game of the Month over Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation. Over... that's probably some shitty games. There's a lot of shitty games this month.
What are the games? Read them to
Street
me.
Fighter Anniversary Collection wasn't as good as Madden, apparently.
I mean...
Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow wasn't as good.
Was that the Xbox version? Because, I guess I kind of ripped the tactics.
Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, the GameCube version. Because remember, this is back when we
that ripped out some of the Xbox features. Okay,
yeah, they were mad about that. They gave it 7s instead of 10s. Astro Boy and Mega Factory was a big hit. Oh my god, this. I love video game magazines, people.
Let's describe more visual mediums on an audio medium. The people love that.
You don't want this whole entire 2-page spread on Tough Stuff, essential selections for the Macho Gamer, where we're advertising such wonderful classics as The Guy Game.
No. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe out there.